So kicking things off, let's talk about Martin the Reunion, right?
Oh,
This is a recently aired, BT special. It was hosted by Effion Crockett. Sorry, didn't expect to see him on board with us. And before we jump into that, we have to talk about that series itself, Martin, right? Quite recently, I should say, about 2 years ago, we talked about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion, right? And we talked
right.
about how we grew up on that show and how that show pretty much impacted us, right? And I would say Martin pretty much did the same thing, right? So just to kick things off, this is just the preamble here. So we'll just pretty much talk about our how we grew up with this show here, right? So for me, it was always kind of alongside, right? So it was always alongside Fresh Prince, right? So Fresh Prince was the more family friendly kind of TV 14 kind of show, you know what I mean, where you could kind of sit down with your parents and watch it, you know what I mean? You get your jokes and whatnot. You learn your lessons and all that kind of stuff. But with Martin, however, it was more prime time, if you will, even though both shows aired on prime time. But what I mean is, it was the humor was more risky. It more leaned towards the stand-up comedy slash sketch comedy kind of vibe too. And of course, it comes from Martin Lawrence, so he knows his way around both. He knows talent in both fields. So he was able to bring in people, to be as guests as say, like say for example, David Allen Gray or Tommy Davidson
Right.
from 11 Color fame. Also bringing in people that he knew already, and this is something I didn't even know about until watching this special here. So yeah, he actually knew Carl Anthony Payne II, who played Cole,
Right.
beforehand. He knew Tisha for years, Tisha Campbell, before they even
Right.
started in House Party, right? And he
Right.
also knew Tichina, sorry, Arnold or Tishina Arnold. He did know prior to the making of the show Thomas Michael Ford, the late great Thomas Michael Ford, of course, who played Tommy, right? And it was just like that. It was just him kind of at the peak of his career, of his comedic career. So it's like, yo, I just wanna strike while the iron is hot. I want to make this TV show here, right? And that's exactly what he did. So yeah, for me, I just always saw this as the sort of TV PG risky counterbalance to Fresh Prince, right? Um,
Right.
it was just a lot of low blow, I don't want to say low brow, but just a lot of low blows, you know what I mean? A lot of just not raw, but it had a rawness to it in terms of just how the comedy was delivered, right? A lot of punches in the guts,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just a lot of shots being thrown at each other, right? But at the same time, it just had just these like really likable characters. That's the key to it all too, right? Martin, Gina, Cole. Pamela, Pam, you pretty much love these characters too, right? But really, the sell of the show is, of course, Martin, and he always made it. He always made a way to put himself front and center, and he did that really through the characters that he plays, right? Whether it's Shanini or Otis, one of my favorite characters, you know what I mean? And it's just all these random weird characters that he just comes up with, right? Even though they kind of appear in either in bits, like say Roscoe, that's the short kid with the snotty nose. He always shows up like in intros.
Yeah.
Um, or like characters like say Shanini, for example, right? Who will just kind of be like this recurring character, right? And yeah, I mean, this was a show that I enjoyed. I would admit that I more leaned to Fresh Prince more, but as I got older, I started like really appreciate Martin. Seeing him on screen. Especially with Bad Boys and stuff like that. That's when I like got back to the show and like I actually like watched out all the seasons. And I was like, yeah, really enjoying it, right? Not as much as say a Fresh Prince, but I really enjoy Martin. Actually recapped it a few years ago and it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's still 90s stuff, but it still generally holds up. Like the humor still lands and all that kind of stuff. And again, just it's not just Martin, but also the cast and crew involved too. Just the energy that they put into just making you laugh your ass off, Trent. And yeah, I mean, just in closing, hands down, it is undoubtedly one of the best sitcoms of the 90s, bar none. One of the best black sitcoms of the 90s, easily, you know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, I didn't think that we were actually going to get a reunion special of this. I mean, it's kind of funny because around the same time when Bad Boys for Life came out, I think it was right afterwards, that's when we got the reunion special for Fresh Prince. So like, yeah, I mean,
Right.
it's Fresh Prince. I mean, it's Fresh Prince. I wasn't really expecting anything from Martin. But I remember a while back I was seeing on Facebook just like these rumblings, like this gossips going around, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, like gossip going around, sorry. Like, yeah, we're going to have this reunion special for Martin. Like, all right, okay. And yeah, so says so. Then we actually get this here, and we will get into the review of that in a bit, right? So yeah, Ricardo, your quick history with Martin the series, man.
Similar to you, yeah, no, you're more into Fresh Prince than Martin. Martin just, yeah, they're a little too old faced. So a lot of jokes you want to get. It very 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 particular Black American ghetto jokes you want to get at the time, stuff like that, right? And yeah, they used to just make it is about young adults, and I won't go as far as it's not like Living Single where it was just this kind of proto friends thing about it, but in some ways it kind of was. It's like a dark spin on that, right? Yeah, it really did a lot of great gallows humor, a lot of just a lot of bits, and then yeah, it was almost also kind of borderline, like not only like it just is a clearly a sitcom, but also more borderline kind of variety show at times. Like they had like straight up performances and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a show that I'm not sure how much it holds up. Again, I don't remember a lot of it in terms of like individual episodes or conceit, but I do remember, oh yeah, Brian Mcknight, I remember that. I remember Babyface and the music performances, stuff like that. It's interesting that he just get all these weird guest stars. And the show had, for lack of a better term, more street cred, right?
Yes.
Yeah, in that sense. So, yeah, it's a show. I didn't super love it, but I remember just really liking it and finding it funny. And I'll admit, yeah, I was just too young for it, to be honest. That's simply the main reason why I wouldn't appreciate it as much as, like, say, if I was older at the time. That's all about it. But yeah, it was a pretty great show and totally worth the memories.
Right. Ashton, your history, your quick history with Martin the series.
Similar to Ricardo, right? To me, Martin, I was too young. It was a show that I wasn't allowed to watch. And by the time I started watching it, I mean, it felt kind of dated to me.
Okay, I understand, yeah.
Yeah. I would say like the first adult Black American comedy show I would have been into was Wayne's Brothers, and shows like Martin would have given that like legs to run then. You know what I mean? Yeah, but other than that, Martin is just a show you know about, and I watch it every now and then if it pops up on TV and there's nothing to watch.
Yeah, you're right, because actually they run it in syndication on BT actually. That and Jamie Foxx show, like there's run that I think it's like I know Jamie Foxx has run like I think this run whole day marathons on Saturdays or something like that. How I know I just like flip the station one day and I was like, oh okay, they're showing Royal Jamie Foxx. Okay, all right. Anyway. But yeah, to close things off, Tracy, your quick history with Martin the series. Was this a show that clicked with you, or you were just more of a Fresh Prince person?
Well, first of all, now y'all have me trying to figure out exactly how old I am, because like my house had Fresh Prince, Martin, and vibes of In Living Color. I remember watching In Living Color on AVM for some reason, and I remember sitting on.
Yeah, I remember In Living Color. Yeah, clearly,
so In Living Color was the jam. But for me, when Martin was concerned, I don't remember like episodes, but I do remember like the banter that Martin always had with Pamela. The idea of how they always like there's this one episode that I do remember where Martin was sequestered for jury duty and Pamela was up on a tree giving him a set of old talk. I remember that. The Heights for me is, Martin was the place that I first saw Tisha Campbell, and then I found out about she was on Broadway, Little Shop of Horrors, and she's all of that. Like she and Tashina were our Broadway people. So that was like a whole eye opener for me. I always, even though I don't remember much about Martin per se, I do remember Shanae. I do remember laughing at Shanae and the Karate Dude Dragon Jones or something along those lines, because he was hilarious. So for me, it was one of those shows that if it was on, I would sit down and watch it. Yes, Fresh Prince was a vibe for me, definitely In Living Color for many reasons. But yeah, Martin was a vibe. But when I left the Martin train, I do agree with Ashton in terms of I did gravitate a little bit more to like the Jamie Foxx and the Wayans and walking around the house singing, we're happy and we're singing and we're colored. That was, that was more my jam eventually. than Martin. Like, it's not something that I would necessarily go back to, though I would still want to go back and check out the reunion video at some point in time.
Right. Right. So about this special here, right? Pretty much it's exactly what it is though. But what I would just say, just to jump into review here, what they do, well, actually the big glaring difference compared to say the Fresh Prince one is that it has a host, like an actual host, and it's not someone who is part of the show itself. It's someone who literally grew up on the show, was inspired by it to follow to do comedy as well too, and that will be Ethan Crockett, right? So like with the Fresh Prince special, for example, it was just really Will who just came in. Will Smith came in and more or less curated all his his on-screen family not to come through to just reminisce and stuff, right? But here, well, pretty much it is Martin who kind of came up with this whole thing. But Afion is a guy who's just like orchestrating, right? Who's just leading the charge, if you will, right? And yeah, I mean, for the most part, I would say I had a blast watching this. I was almost about to say that, but I had fun watching this though. It was really great seeing the cast back again. Tisha though still looking fine, you know what I mean? But it's just seeing just everyone. And when I mean everyone, I mean the cast members who are still alive. And speaking of that, now I really appreciate how they dedicated a whole segment to pay tribute, to Thomas Michael Ford, right? And it was great too because they actually, well, first off, they actually rebuilt both the sets for Pam and Gina's, for Martin and Gina's apartment, and they also built the Nipsey's club. I almost forgot about that, to be honest, right? And yeah, for that section, for the tribute, the memoriam, if you will, for Tommy. Yeah, they had it there. They brought his wife and his son and daughter. They actually brought this female gospel artist to do this song, and then of course they had the surviving crew members, if you will, cast members, to come and just give like a little 2 words in tribute to him, man. It was really nice. I really really appreciate that, man. It didn't make me tear up or had me close to man tears like see the one that was dedicated to Uncle Phil with the Fresh Prince one. That one was like ugh. You know what I mean? Because yeah, Uncle Phil just meant so much, man. You know what I mean? But when it came to Tommy, it was like, yeah. But when it came to Tommy, it was like, yeah, boy. You know what I mean? Like he really was a great character, and he is actually, in my opinion, right? I just love how, and of course, we expect with these shows here, they always have like these clips, right? These best moments and all that kind of stuff, right? So here, you know what I mean? They talk how I always love this one thing about this character was always say, you ain't got no damn job. What's your job anyway, man? And then they show that, right? And it was. Yeah. But it was just seeing the cast, just more or less just reminiscing, talking about, well, first off, how Martin got them on board in the first place, how they were just able to incorporate all this humor. I love how they say also too that, the point of the show was to make each other laugh. Once they do that, then you'll just kind of make the audience laugh in the process as well too, right? And it was cool just seeing all these bits that I remember before, like seeing, I think what's his name, boy, Dragonfly Jones, I think it is, way. That famous. I seen it one time. That famous bit with him at the ATM, and then you have this real life karate champion. I love that. That silence. I ain't got no money, punk. I love that, right? Even bring back a few recurring characters too, like you see Tracy Morgan, who was Hustle Man. I forgot about Hustle Man. Right. They brought back my boy Bro Man. I love this character. They actually brought back Reginald Ballard to play him, and he came through the window. I love that. I don't know. It was just somebody his drawl. He has this sort of drawl. But it's hilarious. He's still one of my favorite characters, man. It was a shame that we couldn't see, Garrett Morris, though. You know what I mean? Because he was there in the first few seasons. But I know he's like really old, but it would have been great to see him. You know what I mean? And who else? We also saw Brian Mcknight actually show up as well too. You know what I mean? Just to show a love. Tommy Davidson show up. Snoop, yes, and because I honestly forgot that Snoop showed up as well. I forgot Outkast make an appearance in this show as well too. I always remember when the Notorious B.I.G. was there. That's a classic. I'll never forget that. I always remember when Kid from Kid and Play was there. Right, that was a great. Yeah, that was a great
Yeah,
picture, right?
all the Shanini stuff is super underrated though. Like I forget how funny that was. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
all of that material. Yeah.
Shanini
yeah,
was a mood.
and sorry.
Shanini was a mood.
Yes, boy,
Yeah.
and even like and even oh gosh, Tisha and Tichina would say, sorry if we butchering the name by the way, right? Would say about how, when Martin was playing Shanini, he would just go in a zone, boy, and then when he like steps out of it, if you will, it's like, yo, you remember when you did this? Like, no, you know what I mean? It's
Right.
just how he just dived into that character, but you know what I mean? So, I mean, arguably, the most memorable, support the character, if you will, in the show, you know what I mean, bar none, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I just love how they were just able to touch on all these various characters, and just all these guests that you forget was showed up as well. Like I forgot Brian Mcknight showed up as well too.
Right.
That was for the famous moment where Martin proposed to Gina, right? I
Right.
forgot Babyface was there. Like I said, I forgot
Right.
Outcast was there, you know what I mean, and all that. And yes, speaking about Snoop, it was funny seeing post I should say not post post doggy style Snoop as well, aka Snoop Doggy Dog with the afro dread. It was so funny seeing
Yeah.
him like that, and then afterwards, much to my surprise, the man show up afterwards, like how we know him
Yeah.
now. I mean, and that was cool. And yes, he actually ended the show off in fine style. He performed Gin and Juice at the same Nipsey set. It was great though.
Yeah.
I love that he was the one who actually brought all the expletives into the show here. Kind of like, wow, this thing like real PG and stuff like that, man. And then Snoop come
Right.
perform songs like, yep, bobbed up to image, and I love it, right? But yeah, I enjoy this, man. Not as much as the Fresh Prince one, mainly because this one felt more like the TV special kind of vibe. Like you have the off-screen audience, you have the hosts and the questions and all that kind of stuff. It had a structure to it, while the one with the one for Fresh Prince kind of just more felt like, hey, we just kind of going off the cuff here. I have some questions, I have some stories to share with y'all, and we just vibing, and that's what it does. It had more of a family vibe to it, you know what I mean? While this one was more about, yeah, it's just cast members coming together and talking, you know what I mean? But that's not to say that there isn't much to appreciate and enjoy here, man. And I was just saying, closing, if you're a fan of Martin, you will absolutely enjoy this, man. It's just that when it comes to the execution of it all, it is standard. It is rather basic, but it's not too much
Right.
to take away from the show, right? If it is out, just one last thing I just want to say before we get to Ricardo's thoughts, man. It's kind of funny that they did not bring up the awkwardness of the final season though, because if you all remember that fifth season, that was around the time when Martin was accused of certain things involving Tisha. So
Okay.
so in a nutshell, what happened is that like they literally were not in the same scene together. If you all rewatch
Okay.
the fifth season, there are
Oh boy.
numerous like in the episode, like all the I should say like in the last probably in the finale of the series finale, I think they actually had them together on screen. But if you look at that fifth season closely, Dread, you will not see the two of them together in the same shot. It was so weird, boy. You know what I mean? Because they could have just easily like write out Gina, but Gina is, well, Martin's wife. You know what I mean? At the point in time, right? So they couldn't really do anything about that. But yeah, literally they were not on screen or on set together. It's real weird. It's really, really weird though.
Okay.
So I thought at
Right.
least they would have kind of explained, the controversy between the two of them near the end
Right.
of the season of the show's run now. But no, they actually didn't. They kind of gloss over it. Although it's kind of funny where that's just inclusion, by the way. Where when you get to Tisha now, Tisha call her Tisha Campbell Martin. Like literally hit you with that now. If you remember, she
Right.
was married to Dwayne Martin, right? Now they divorced, right? But they have two kids together, right? So I was like, ooh, that's a low blow, Jen. Because I kind of read it as, oh, you kind of want to bring up the thing with the same fifth season that they didn't mention at all. Though. Like that was a low blow, but it worked good because I mean of who Pam is, right? The character and who she is in real life, right? So yeah, then that I enjoy this, man. So for me, if I had to read this, like to decent 4 to 5, man. This is worth checking out, man. This is definitely worth checking out. But again, if you're a Martin fan, you'll appreciate it way more. And if you haven't checked out the show in a hurry, I would say, yeah, check it out, man. I mean, it's still 90s fare, but humor wise, it still holds up, man. So Ricardo, your thoughts on this reunion special?
Yeah, I dug the hell out of it for what it was and what it was trying to do. I was worried that it was going to be too much, you know, congratulating and rating up Martin. But it's like, yeah, it's his show and it makes sense, and we didn't get too much of that. So it wasn't too obnoxious in that way. But yeah, it was standard fare in terms of its execution. I didn't expect it to be any deeper than that, to be honest. Like, yeah, they're just going to run through the bits. They do all the favorite moments, which was, yeah, most of the moments I remember. Just all the guest star stuff, all the thing, and yeah, they just not as good as the French Prince one, but still pretty good. To be honest, and I didn't expect as many guest stars, like just Snoop showing up and Brian Mcknight showing up and Tommy Davidson showing up. It's like, hey, would and then of course Borman come back. I know they had to do the Borman bit, and I'm glad that they put it into the bit itself, like they make a bit out of it and they did it. And yeah, that's
by the way, I was almost worried that he wasn't able. He would not have been able. Sorry to go through that window. Right. I was concerned.
Yeah, but no, they make it work for it is, and I get all the stuff I do remember about the show is what they're more or less reminding me of. It was just good. Like it was nice to hear them just talk about the business at the time. People never talk about how remember Fox. It was such a big deal for Fox to exist because Fox was like the fourth network. And that was like a big deal back in the 90s. And well, when you have new networks, the kind of the rule of the thumb is that look, black shows gonna get a better shake because they have no other shows. They have no shows. So this go for that. And yeah, Martin is one of the big reasons why Martin gets shows because of Fox. It's interesting to watch that paradigm and again, as I say, striking while the iron is hot. It's just an interesting time for a lot of black sitcoms and way working. One of the controversial thing about Martin I do remember is around this time, and I forget which year it was exactly. I don't know if it's before or the show. I'll probably do a little bit of history book. His hosting of SNL and him being banned from SNL and why.
Oh,
does anyone know why?
No, why?
Yeah. So, yes, well, his opening monologue was like this weird, risky, super lewd set of jokes that was completely off-putting. I was like, what? Why would you do a set like that? Is it weird?
Well, question is it Def Jam level humor or way worse?
It's basically it's black humor. No sweat. But I thought the problem is that dude, the man just went off on these weird topics. You have to watch it to see it, and it's hard. I don't you'll find it on the NBC site, but you could find it, and it's super weird. But yeah, he was permanently banned from SNL for that.
Oh shit!
So I thought that was. Yeah, as far as I know, he's permanently banned. I think so. I think if Lord banned, yeah, you're done. That's what I understand. But yeah, it was such an interesting time for comedy, and just people just getting their foot in the door at the time. And yeah, between Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, and the two of them coming up at the same time. One clearly caters to certain perspectives, and we could get into all kind of deeper conversations we don't have time for. With respect to how different black people see things in the United States. But yeah, this was solid for me. I rating wise, I'll probably give it a 7 or 8 out of 10. I was expecting great. I was just expecting. To be frank, I thought they would have just suck Martin dick for an hour and a half. To be honest, but we didn't get too much of that. Let's suck dick a little bit. So alright, I could have lived with that. So it was fine, and they just make it work. Martin was cool. Everybody was cool. They just talk about each other. The person they got with this woman from Jefferson's, I forget her name.
Oh, Marla Gibbs. Yes, Marla Gibbs.
Yes,
showed up.
I thought she was great.
She was in this series too.
Yeah. Her little spot was great. I really enjoyed that, and I forget that. And then, just all the little stuff with just reminded me. I forget, Martin used to play his own mom in this, and she used to just drag it and roll out her pocket. It's just all these great bits. Oh yeah, right. You forget all this this comedy that probably very problematic now, but I can just look back at it and say, yeah, this was funny and it was a time and it was a period for people. And a lot of people it had a lot of great gallows humor when it comes to again, this is our old kind of running joke now, but black sitcoms used to hit you with the police stuff from a long time. A lot of great gallows humor about the stuff. And they did great bits with it. That bit with the dog. I remember.
That by the way is a reference to New Jack City. Yeah?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and they did just all these references and parts that like you get to hear production stuff behind the scenes about they want a real dog, but you can get it and that but they had to make it work and who laughing and set it. It worked. Yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. It's fine. I enjoyed it.
Right. So, which black sitcom you all think gonna get a reunion special by Living Single, Wayans Brothers, or Jamie Foxx show? Which one do you all think?
Living Single is the only one that I think really sticks with a lot of people. Like it's the one that it was Friends before Friends. In many ways, those are better shows than Friends. In my opinion, I watch back Friends. I listen. Friends, real hard to crack a smile for me. Like Friends,
I never watch Friends, you know.
Yeah,
sorry, Tracy. I know you're probably thinking I'm some kind of blasphemer or something, but I never watch Friends.
Listen, I am the minority, and I accept that. Where I legitimately, there are things about, like I am literally sitting down here thinking about Ross screaming through the window when he saw Rachel, he saw Monica and Chandler, and I am cracking up. So I know I'm a minority. That being said, I mean, Living Single is still, for the music and for what the show was and for what it promoted, it is still freaking fantastic, and I would love to see a reunion for that.
I need to recap that show.
Friends is a big show with the big money. Like I'm saying, no, I'm trying to have good bits in it. I'm not denying that Friends have good bits in it. You know, like Ross yelling pivot when he was, moving the couch, like stuff like that. Stuff like that, a lot of dumb bits that I like. But dude, like compared to Living Single, it's like, wow, this is chalk and cheese by the way, it's not close. Like I watched that Living Single is running in the background, and I was like, wow, this was like so much smarter than I remember and so much better as a show. Like, holy shit. But Friends is a big show. Like I ain't saying no. And Friends have good bits, but like it's not close. And for it to like just be such a blatant ripoff now. However, moving on. To me, if I was to choose no black sitcom, it'd be that or probably Parenthood. I remember really enjoying
Parenthood. Yes, I used to watch that. I think the one person I remember from that show before we move on is Faison Love. That was my introduction to Faison Love. I saw him on Friday. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have a memory of Townsend, because Townsend was in Parenthood, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a star. Yeah, he was
I have two quick things, and then I'll shut up. One, in terms of Parenthood, I have a memory of when he came here. He was one of the judges that if they were doing some sort of local casting, and there was a whole bunch of us that went into Little Carib Theatre to audition in front of this guy. And I remember that I was like, oh my god, it's that guy from Parenthood. Right. So there's that. That's a memory I have. I actually wrote something and went and presented. Anyhow, so there's that, and then completely random, because I have questions and I want to know answers. I want a Family Matters reunion. I mean,
how can I forget about Family Matters?
like
little Tyler is now Devon on Young and Restless. Yes, I know these things, and he's a chancellor or some bullshit. He's a chancellor. He's a grandson of a chancellor. But the point is like I have questions in terms. I have questions. Full stop. So I would love seeing a Family Matters reunion special thing at some point.
Yeah, that might be pretty entertaining, man. That probably will be really entertaining, man. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Well, I mean, heaven knows what the next black sitcom reunion special will be. But I hope it's worth it, man. Cause we get two pretty decent ones so far. So let's see what the next one is and what it has to offer, man.